All right, everyone, welcome, welcome. We are live. Happy Veterans Day. I'm so happy to be here with you today, and we have a super special chat we're going to be having. I am live here with Sara. She's the CEO of Premier Talent Partners, and she is here today to talk about how a special software that they have developed for applicants to come through their system is going to be beneficial to military spouse talent. Sara, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, and then we'll get into Premier Talent Partners.
Okay, lovely. So I have been blessed with the opportunity to have the title of CEO of Premier for 22 years, long time. And wow, it's been a ride. And, of course, like everyone right now, there are lots of layers and layers of challenges facing us with not only the pandemic, but the economic impacts as a result of. Thank you for mentioning our new technology, and I'm really excited to share how the tool is, not only helpful to all underrepresented communities, but equally, and if not more importantly, how mil spouses can and will be able to see their careers flourish and catapult as a result of using this technology. So I'm honored to be here. Happy Veterans Day, and thank you.
Yes, and so tell us about what Premier Talent Partners does so that we have a temperature in the room and we kind of understand your company. And then we'll jump into Ajna.
Okay, great. So Premier Talent Partners for about the last 10 years had a focus in the areas of admin, HR ops, and customer success. And about a year and a half ago, we started talking about how might we be able to expand our impact, right? And so today, where we used to focus in 4 job functions, placing talent entry to the executive level in roles that would encompass direct hire, so full-time search, contract, and payrolling, we are now still focusing, placing entry to the executive level and still placing on-demand direct hire, contract, and payrolling roles. But where we have shifted and changed most recently is offering up to 25 areas of specialization under what we call job functions, and going from hundreds to thousands of job titles. And this is all a result of our technology. So on the one hand, we are a traditional staffing organization where we specialize in search and placement. And yet what we are on the precipice of is transitioning to become an integrated player where we're integrating our new technology with what is our traditional staffing model. There's definitely a change to the way that we're working that we're very excited about. It's a major paradigm shift for our industry. We've tried to come up with an analogy of how to explain this shift. And we reference often, we used to all go and walk into our banks and deposit our checks and take out money. And then we were introduced to online banking, right? And where we had an intermediary, someone in the bank who would facilitate on our behalf, much like traditional staffing, recruiters in between the clients and the talent facilitating. What we're doing is we're opening up much like online banking so that clients and talent will have an opportunity to communicate directly to one another. And, it's your career. It is our client's job search. We are thrilled to join into a partnership where we're actually co-curating what would be career advancement and what would be successful search and placement with companies.
All right. So let's talk about Ajna. One thing I'm excited about, military spouses, 1 in 4 spouses are unemployed, and that was pre-COVID. Right. And so they're very underrepresented in the workplace, and a lot of it is because we face some stigma right before we ever walk in the door of a company. Ajna gets rid of that. So let's talk about Ajna, what it is, how amazing it is, and then how great it is for military spouses and then other underrepresented groups.
Yes. So currently, as we all know, there's most companies use technology and or run search processes that are more traditional, right? So they rely on what would be a traditional resume, and they look for, and recruiters we're all recruiters, I once was one, are trained to look for tiny little things. And one of the primary indicators of whether or not often talent is considered viable is the amount of time that they are committed to in a specific role, right? And so for mill spouses specifically, they're almost instantly eliminated as a viable option from the search process because of the movement, right? And this is a huge, it's a major hurdle that the current, again, systems and training and process that most companies follow have, they have in place. And what Ajna is doing is, rather than saying, we're going to look at your resume and we're going to use what are traditional ways of identifying whether or not someone should even be considered to be considered, Ajna says, hey, come into the system, mill spouses and everyone else, and create a profile for yourself and share with us across all of your experience, right? How many years do you have in marketing, and more specifically, in what might have been your job title in marketing? How many years of experience do you have in project management? How many years of experience do you have in all your various job titles, right? And then job functions. So it allows mill spouses and everybody else to come in and create what is a well-rounded profile, not just highlighting your years of experience, your qualifications, your skill set, and your contributions. It also asks for, how do you want to use those skills, right? What would be some ideal new job opportunities that maybe you don't have that specific title yet, but it's something that you'd be interested in, or you do feel that your background would qualify you for. And then we also ask you about your culture preferences, your value preferences, right? So it does create a complete profile of who you are. And then as we're running intake calls for jobs, right? So companies do the exact same thing. Companies come into the system, they create what is a well-rounded profile, right? They enter in what is and are the culture and values of the organization, and our algorithm matches the talent to the jobs and facilitates and allows for direct communication. Where this makes a big difference, or the biggest difference for mill spouses, is it does eliminate what is that point of friction because of the movement in their background. And it allows everyone, and again, mill spouses, to highlight and showcase really their total years of experience versus responsibilities and or experiences in those shorter blocks of time. Does that make sense?
Yes. And so what happens after you get through the Ajna system? Mm-hmm. At any point, if you're an applicant, mm-hmm. do you have to give your resume to that hiring manager if you go through Premier?
Absolutely not. No, you have an option to upload your resume into the system, but the system was built primarily based on our firm personal belief and value proposition that that we need to eliminate bias from the hiring process and create more equity. And so the resume is actually not even able to be seen by a hiring manager until after a first round interview has been complete. So that content is gated, and it actually never has to be disclosed. It is not required to use the system at all whatsoever.
That's amazing. And so if you are a military spouse or anyone who has a history that's a little bit checkered, and you have some gaps on your resume, and you've had to job hop because of the lifestyle, Ajna forgives you for that, and you have the option to give your resume, but you don't necessarily have to. So another question.
Yes.
If you are interested in going through this system, I have dropped a link in the description of this video, and it leads you as a military spouse through the portal at Premier Talent Partners for military spouses. What tips or tricks might you have for any applicant if they want to find success and land a career or an interview through this system?
Be as thorough as possible. Add in all of your historical data. So don't hold back on any skill, job, and or experience and or qualification that you have. Complete your profile, make your profile as robust as possible, obviously, with honesty and integrity, because the more robust your profile, the more options, right, opportunities you'll qualify for, and the more times you will show up in the matches for the client. So they will then be able to see you. And the more robust, again, the better matched you'll be. Don't leave anything out. Don't leave any stone unturned.
I love that advice. And it's true for anything that you're applying. If you go through any other, applicant tracking system as an applicant, you've got to be thorough and fill out the application system there, because that's how the recruiters do find you.
Yes.
But let's see. If you're a military spouse, do you have virtual positions through Premier that you match people up with?
Absolutely. So one of the real positives of COVID and this pandemic is that the majority of businesses have transitioned to being very remote friendly. And one of the benefits and the reasons why you'd want to create a profile in the Ajna system is because what has also happened for Premier Talent Partners, where we were and did have a national presence prior to COVID and the pandemic, we've only expanded that because of Ajna, because there are no limits in the types of searches that we can run, in the locations that we're running those searches, and in the talent being able to be matched with those searches. We have clients that, actually are requesting and don't want to limit, where we do ask for proximity and ideal, location of the hire, of the talent when we're running that job intake through the system. We have many clients that are saying, hey, listen, this is a remote, viable tool, opportunity, and we would love to see talent across the country. So yeah, very much so. This shift has been hugely positive and should have a huge impact for military spouses.
Absolutely. And so my question of the day for you, Sara, military spouses get a lot of free career resources, such as resume writing and career coaching. What is so great about staffing that can actually help military spouses or any other underrepresented demographic? What is the benefit of going through a staffing company like yours?
Our sole purpose is to help you get a job. And our sole purpose is to help our client companies make the right hires. We are personally invested in making sure that your resume, if you're working through a traditional staffing organization, and or your profile, if you're working through Premier, is as robust as possible. We want whether it's a resume, your one-page advertisement, or your profile, your multi-page advertisement, to be the best, most incredible representative of you. So please know that every staffing agency, not just Premier, every staffing agency, our intention is to get you a job. Like, that's what we want to do, because we also want to help our client companies hire the best possible people. So that's number one, why you'd want to work through a staffing agency. They're motivated to help you be your best you, right? And in addition, we pave the path, right? So we're out there forming these relationships with companies, and we're your advocate. Like, we need you and work with us. And please know that right now, this is a challenging time for everyone, especially obviously because of the adverse economic impact that has come as a result of COVID. And any and all staffing agencies are motivated to stay in business, number one, and to help ensure that no job goes unfilled and no candidates go unplaced. So our mission our mission, 100% of us, our mission is to change lives. We are here to help you, to help catapult you in your career, to upskill, and by the way, as a part of the interview process, a big part of what we do is prep you, right? Prepare you so that when you actually do meet with the client, that you have all the background and the knowledge, and that we've had an opportunity to have a one-to-one conversation to ensure that we're setting you up for success. Again, our only goal, every single staffing agency, our goal is to help you get a job and to help our client companies hire the right people. The intention is pure. The intention is to change lives. Bottom line.
And this may seem like a silly question, but I'm sure there are some people out there that just don't know. Do I have to pay to use a staffing agency?
No, and you never should.
All right. I like that answer. All right, Sara, you have given us some absolutely incredible, amazing, tangible tips, tricks, and advice. I love what you're doing with Ajna.
Thank you.
Before we go, do you have any final words of wisdom, tips, or tricks that you would like to tell our audience today?
I think that we're all very blessed to be, alive right now. We're going through some and have experienced so many different important shifts this year. And I know it's been a tough year for everyone. The advice that I would give is to stay focused on, what is your here and your now, right? What is your present situation? What is your current need? And think about, and always try and think about, how might you be able to magnify, what would be any impact that you might be able to make. So when you reach out, especially as it relates to your job search specifically, when you reach out to a staffing agency, again, don't hold back in sharing with them the value that you bring to the table. There's nothing more important than being your own best advocate, and ask those staffing agencies to align with you and to be your advocate as well. Also, leave no stone unturned in your job search. So definitely come and fill out a profile, create a profile on the Ajna system, but please register with any agency in your local area. It is not, you don't have to be selective. You don't have to work with just one, because we all support different clients. So now is a time, especially if you are unemployed and you are looking for an opportunity and or need to start working right away, be flexible, be open, and know that whether it's contract or direct hire, there are some people that walk into an agency and say, I'm only interested in direct hire. Listen, there are more unbelievable contract opportunities that turn into direct hire placements than there are direct hire. So please keep that in mind. Just be flexible, be open, leave no stone unturned, and be very, very present, less specific, more general right now. Give yourself an opportunity to get in the door, get in front of a client, so that you can together explore how you can co-curate the right placement for you.
Wonderful. And Sara, you have been just a gem. Thank you for your time and for your patience with my situation here.
Oh my gosh.
And everyone else. I appreciate your viewership. We had lots and lots of views. We had lots and lots of comments. And Sara, if I have any questions, I'll ping you in the team and we'll make sure to get those questions answered. So thank you all for tuning in today. And thank you again, Sara.
Thank you. Safe flight. Happy Veterans Day.